Hello everyone, welcome back. Got something new for you today. In our last video we were working on the worker housing. We're going to get back to that. In process of working on that project I realized I was going to need more iron, and I thought, I haven't actually done the building of an iron farm on camera before, so why don't we try that. As you can see, we're pretty low on iron. We've only got 16 iron ingots, and it's going to take maybe 15 of those to do this iron farm. The way I like to do it requires 15. You can do it with just 5. More on that later. So I've marked out a place for our iron farm. You need to start with a hole that is 5 by 5 and 8 deep. And then we're going to end up expanding it to 7 by 7 up at the top at the end. So let's just get started and get to it. I am on, I think, what is my 3rd or 4th take on trying to do this video. So you're going to find that my entire hole is full of dirt, and you will find that when you do this yourself that only maybe the top 3 to 4 layers are going to be dirt and the rest is going to be stone. So it will take you slightly longer than you're seeing me take now. But this is a great early game project. It doesn't require a whole lot of resources. The iron's probably the hardest thing to get. Although you need a fair amount of wool to make the beds. We're going to end up needing 20 beds. And because this iron farm is going to have 20 villagers down in the bottom. They're going to be generating iron golems for us. The way the game works, it varies from Bedrock to Java Edition, but you need a certain number of villagers, and they need to be able to satisfy a couple of conditions that vary between editions. But the model I'm showing you will work both in Bedrock and in Java, so this should be good. I like it. It's quick and dirty. It takes very little to get started. I don't like the dirty part, honestly. Some of the late game problems, or later game problems that this iron farm has, due to being so quick and easy, relatively speaking, is that sometimes it can be hard to spawn proof this particular iron farm. Now, what that means is we want our iron golems to spawn in a certain place. The top 3 levels of this hole is going to be where we want those iron golems to spawn. And in order to have that, we need to make sure that all of the possible other places that an iron golem could spawn are impossible. Iron golem's a pretty big mob. It's about 2.5 blocks tall. It's between 2 and 3 blocks tall. I forget the precise height. I think it might be 2.6 or 2.7 blocks tall. But it's at least 2.5 blocks tall. Where are we at here? We're at 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more layers. Now I used to put stairs around the outside edge of this hole, but we end up knocking them off almost as soon as we put them on. So when you're doing this, you're going to want to make sure that you have, look at where my cursor is down there in the bar, you're going to want to make sure you have some ladders so you can get yourself out. So once you dig this hole, you're not going to be able to get out. Not without kind of ruining your hole a little bit. So you can see here some obsidian. That is because when I got down to the bottom where this hole is supposed to be, there was a small cave with lava in it down here, and that is one of the potential complications you've got to be watching out for when you are digging this hole, especially if you're playing hardcore like I am. Don't dig straight down. Never dig straight down. Don't even do it on survival, but certainly don't do it on hardcore. You will die to regret it. Alright, so we are 8 blocks down now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, double counting there. Alright, so what I did earlier is I poured some water on the lava and I filled in the cave with dirt blocks so that our hole would be the right shape, and hopefully there won't be any other space within 8 blocks of this hole which a iron golem can spawn. So let's get right to it. To continue this build, we're going to need to make some room to put those 20 beds in that I was talking about. So we're going to need to carve out the sides, just the 5 block wide sides, You'll know you've done it right when there is a little corner like this. You don't want to take that corner out. Well, if you do, you're just going to have to put it back. It's not a huge deal if you do, but you're going to end up putting it back. Alright, so we're almost done with that now. As you can see, we need about 2 shovels to do this job if you're using stone tools. One of the reasons we do this is so we can start using iron tools that are significantly faster. Alright, so we have now our hole to put beds down in. And why don't we just do that now? Oh wait, that's right. We can't hold 20 beds in our inventory and still hold all the other things we need to do this. Which is why I was talking about the ladders. Alright, so we need to decide which side of the hole we want to come up in. And I've turned around so many times in this hole. I'm not entirely certain which direction our camp is. I believe it's that way. So we're going to make our ladder come up this way. And I'll show you why later, very soon. So the chamber where the villagers are going to be is going to go up to here. And then there's going to be 2 levels. We're probably going to use cobblestone. If I had more sand, I would use glass so you can see what's going on, but you don't have to use glass. Now we need our trapdoors. Also, well, you know, this is 8 blocks deep and I only had 6 blocks worth of ladders, so I use trapdoors because we are eventually going to want them to be trapdoors when we get the floors in, so I just put them in now. And strictly speaking, we don't probably have to put that last one on there, but it makes getting in and out a little easier. Good, I guessed the right way. We want the iron coming out of the farm this way, and it's best to have the ladder on the opposite side. So that's what we're going to do. We came out for beds. The beds are here. And just so we can hold a couple more beds, I'm going to put these other blocks away. And dirt here, and dirt here. Alright. Head back down and put in some beds. We did that so we could grab more beds. Here we go, beds. And down we go. Watch your step. You'll just glide down those ladders fine, but don't jump straight off, you'll hurt. Alright. Now the way I like to do this, actually the way I like to do this is knock this layer of dirt out too. So let's do that real quick. This gives us more room to put the beds down. You can get the beds down without it, but it is more difficult. Alright, so we're going to go like this. Let's put this bed like that. And we need, I guess we're going to be putting down 2 beds at a time. I like to stick the beds into corners like this. If you're playing Java, it doesn't really matter. If you're playing Bedrock, it matters just a little bit more. Probably will find that it doesn't matter how you do it. And there we go. So you see I'm having the beds come together in opposite corners of this floor. That gives us room to put a ladder up and maybe some extra workstations. Worksite blocks being the term that the community uses. I didn't knock that dirt out, made it harder to put that bed down. Let's fix that. Alright. Alright, so that's the outer layer, and then the inside part that's inside that 5x5 square will go down like this. Not too difficult. This isn't rocket surgery, as I like to say. Alright. And then we put in another row, same as the last, on the other side of the square. And then, looks like it's starting to become nighttime. Then we need to go up for a couple more beds. I think we have enough time to put the last couple beds in. Yeah, we definitely have that much time. Those beds will cushion your fall a little bit, but you'll still take damage if you fall right off. So I'm going to put a bed there. We're going to put a bed there. And just so we have a workstation down here, or a crafting table down here, I should say, I like to put a little crafting table right in the middle of all that. All right, so it's almost dark. The next thing we're going to want to do is put in the ceiling. We're going to need a pretty significant amount of cobblestone for that, but I think 1 stack is enough, and it's dark. It's going to be 2 layers thick, everywhere except right there at that ladder. Whoops. We'll just knock that off. Better to put the top in before the bottom. Wow. My accuracy is way off today. We've just got blocks going down everywhere. So this floor is there for a couple of reasons. It's 2 blocks thick because we need it to control spawns and control where exactly the floor of our water trap that we're going to be using to catch those iron golems in, to put that floor where we want it to be. Alright, now some people will put some blocks in the corners. I find that's not strictly necessary. Alright, now we need to dig out that 7 by 7 square that I had mentioned, square that I had mentioned earlier. And so let's just knock these off right now so that they come off where we want them to come off instead of wherever they happen to go. You can see we're going to make sure we don't miss that. Of course, you can dig from the bottom up if you trust yourself not to dig too far and end up spending time putting blocks back in. We're trying to do this quick. It's one of the reasons that we're using a cobblestone floor rather than glass. Normally I do glass in my own builds, but normally I haven't done a worker housing project that required a ton of glass like we have. That is not the sort of thing that I generally do in early game. That was kind of an experiment. Get those villagers up and going and getting trades that will help us advance to end game a lot faster. But so will this here iron farm. So let's get the new ladders in place. We're going to want one there and there in the wall opposite of where we want to be collecting iron from. And we just close that door up for now if we want. I can leave it open. And we can get out. Alright, so now we need to get some villagers in there. I just realized that I haven't figured out how I'm getting those villagers in there. Shame on me. Well, we have... Ooh, look, we've got an iron golem over there. I'll talk more about that later. Alright, so what we're going to do to get these villagers in here most easily is we're going to create a little water trap just for the villagers. So we're going to put down some blocks here to control where the water flows to, and then we're going to get some water in here. I've got a little well right here we can just take water from and get going on. I'm going to put water in the corners just like that. You will see that it starts to push this direction. I might do it a slightly different way depending on how this plays out, but I think this will work. We're just going to put the water in the way we're going to put it in to catch the iron golems. It did not work quite the way I wanted. Alright, let's see. So to solve that problem, we're just going to move where we place this water source block a little bit. This will still work for us. Let's try putting it... Oops, I filled in that water block instead of picking it up. That was a mistake. We're going to put it here. See where that water lands. Alright, still a little too far. Let's go there. That's perfect. Now we want them to get flown into, that makes it sound like a fly. We want them to get pushed into that hole. Might take a little work. That'll probably be good enough though. The other option we have to solve that is to put the hole in the middle, and then we just end up filling that hole in later. I think that'll work for us. Let's do that. Normally, when I'm not trying to do this as quickly as possible on camera, I just take a little break in between getting that floor in and going and getting some villagers, and it doesn't matter how long it takes. Since we're doing this on camera and I'm really trying to do this in one video, we're going to change this slightly. Alright, so we're going to close that up. We're going to dig a hole right here. This will work. Now we're down on the beds. Just come out this hole, close it back up again so it doesn't get in our way or anything, and then we'll do what we did the first time, and that'll work. Now, now the only place the water flows to is right there where that hole is, and the villagers will fall right down that hole. Alright, let's go get some villagers. We have a few villagers breeding in this place right now. As you can see, we have an iron golem that they have summoned. So there's enough in there now. That means there's at least 5. In Java Edition, you have to have at least 5 to pull that off. Unless there's a zombie scaring them. Alright, so we're going to take our boat down there. We're going to go through our access doors at the back and pull 2 villagers out. We're going to have to pull them out one at a time. And I just realized we don't have a way to make sure they go into the hole. I'm going to end up, I hope, not having to take another take on this video. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to create a pathway for them, or the only way for them to go is the way we want them to go. We're going to pick up any blocks that they might be attracted to along the way. Villagers want a job, so I just picked up the 2 blocks that I have in my camp that are job work site blocks. And then what we're going to have to do is lay down a little corridor, and I will do this on camera, and if it makes me take 2 videos, then so be it, because this is the sort of problem you will almost invariably run into. So we're going to be able to boat those villagers over to that staircase. So we don't need to create a wall until we get to over here, where they might get off path. We're going to make that wall as minimal as possible. So, yeah, that'll work. Let's do it like that. That will keep them from wandering off that side of the path. We're going to make a path all the way over to the iron farm. And now we have to come up again. And we're going to try and make that jump, and we made it good. We're going to come up again. Whoa, we just ended up in the sheep farm. Which is why we have these boats installed, I showed you before. Make it easy to get out. Alright. We don't want them getting into the sheep farm, so we're going to put that wall continued across here. Alright. And we're going to keep funneling them alongside the edge of our livestock area until we get to where the hole is, which is about right there. Let's go one more. And then over. Try to make Make sure we don't fall in ourselves, not that that'd be a huge problem. Alright, that lets them come in on this corner. You know what? I think I want to go one more further over than that. I don't think it's going to make a difference, but I'm just going to be extra sure. In fact, let's just do that whole part there over again. We need more dirt. Oh, we had more dirt. All right, well now we'll have plenty. All right, so this will make it so that they avoid landing squarely in there. That flow should push them out of that corner, but I just want to make extra sure that they are not going to accidentally fall into that corner and not get out. All right, and we'll finish this pathway like this, not like that. And been too long apparently. My accuracy has dropped. Alright, it's practically dark now. Now's the time to stop before we wall off our bed. It's day 2. We'll cut this video at the end of day 3. Hopefully we're done by then, but I have this feeling we're not going to be. Alright, so we need that blocked off. Coming on down, get our next stack. These villagers need a lot of help. Villagers do not like going where you want them to go. They like just wandering around and staring at shiny things. We're going to use that against them a little bit here in this tunnel. One of the things you can do is you can put worksite blocks in this. I call it a tunnel, but you know, you see these open sides and open top. But that's basically what we're doing. We're creating a pathway that they can't wander out of, and then we're going to use those 2 blocks we picked up from our camp to lure them in the direction we want them to go. They want a job so bad that they will look within, I forget what the number is, it's something like 30 blocks. They will look within 30 blocks for any block that has not been claimed by another employed villager. And they will just take that and say, that's mine, I want to be a fill in the blank. In this case, it's going to be a, let's see, mason and a weaponsmith, as I recall. Just a little bit more dirt. I see what I've done here is I've actually made it so we don't need a boat at all, and that's fine. Boats travel across land very slowly. So we'll just keep with that. Since we've done it already, we might as well just finish it. We will come over here, and we will place the dirt so that there's only one way for them to go, down this path. Alright, let's see what it looks like in here. We've got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 villagers. More than enough for us to take 2 out. Now, let's lure 2 of them out. We're going to use job site blocks to lure them out. And since the ones we want are the ones that don't have jobs, that should work out real nice. Let's put one there. And one's already on his way. Let's put down the next block out here, and that'll lure out the next one. Go on you. Go on you. We're going to close that door. We're going to run around to the front, jump in, and pull them along using those job site blocks, those work site blocks. Alright. I'm going to break those blocks and move them further up the path, that is. That's our mason. And come on down, fellas. use that term very loosely. Nature finds a way when it comes to these guys. And we're just going to leapfrog these blocks as we pull them through. They're such hard-working fellers. Folks, I should say. Oh, I did not mean to hit that guy. Dang it. Well, that shouldn't make too big of a difference. Sorry, didn't mean to hit you. Part of the reason we want to avoid that kind of behavior. Uh-oh, I didn't move stuff fast enough. They're wandering outside of the house free. Well, that's the one problem. There's a way to avoid that. I'll show you right now how to avoid that, and then we'll just fix the problem. The way you avoid that problem is instead of putting those job blocks in here where they might get lost. Oh, my pick is broken. That's the problem. Alright, let's see if we can just lure that other guy back in here. That first one found his way back in. Let's see if the second one can. Nope, he found the fisherman's. He found the barrel. Alright, that should break his association with that. That should put him back in the path, probably. Yes. Alright. Now, solution. Solution is to put the block under that wall that we're making instead of next to it. Then they won't be able to jump out. Alright. So we're going to leapfrog that again. Up here, put it there. And then move this one over here. Believe it or not, this is the fast way. I mean, there are faster ways, but they involve using things like rails, which are just not particularly new game friendly. We don't have an iron farm. We can't put down a whole boatload of rails to try and force people to go where we want them to go. I'm going to break that. At this point, we might just be able to push them in. No, not quite. Not quite. At this point, we might be able to push them in. But they want to push back, so we're going to block the path. And that way, they won't want to go back. Very far, anyway. Alright, just going to have to lure them down in the hole the hard way. We'll put those blocks inside the hole. Did I get it? I got it. Alright. Let's put that right there. It's going to come into that hole predictably, looking to get a job, and I'm going to say, I'm sorry, your job is downstairs. Alright, let's make sure they both got in there. They did. Excellent. They're not very good at climbing ladders, so we don't have to worry about that too much. Now we can pick up that water. And we can also fill in that hole we just made. It'll just be those two blocks we dug up. Everything look copacetic down here. We've got light, we've got villagers. Alright, so now we need to get these villagers breeding. Another thing you're going to want, the first thing we're going to want is to clear our pathway back to our camp. We can take down this whole thing later, but right now let's just clear that off. I don't need to show you doing that. You will obviously want to do that. Alright, we need food. We have already prepared enough bread for 20 love modes. And we're going to throw all that bread down there. You know what else we need? We've got an inventory. Excellent. We're going to need those job blocks I was talking about. When I am populating this iron farm, I use these composters. That's the worksite block for a farmer. And a farmer will share food with anybody who doesn't have enough to get into love mode. So that's what we're going to start with. We're not going to leave those blocks because farmers won't work during the rain, and that will keep your iron farm from functioning when it's raining, ultimately. It reduces your efficiency. So we're going to put in the walls most of these. We're going to carve those blocks out now. I probably could have done that earlier, but oops, we didn't need to take that one out. And I'll show you why in a moment. Alright. So we're going to put down all of the work blocks. Didn't need to put that one in either. We're going to put down all of the work blocks. We're going to need that space too. We're going to count them off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Alright, so now we have 20 blocks. We can feed these guys, or toss I should say, to them all 120 of these breads. That's 3 times 2 for one attempt times 20. Alright, and they'll just share. In fact, I actually generally like to toss just a few more down than that, just in case they share in a way that is less than perfectly efficient. So let's go grab a few more. I'm going to say 12 probably is enough. One of the reasons I like to use glass, and maybe we'll just replace that floor with glass. If I have to break it into 2 videos, that's what we're going to do probably. Was that the end of day 3? That was the end of day 3, wasn't it? Maybe I'll get some glass between videos. Anyway, before that, we're going to toss some extra food down there. 12 times 3 is 36. That is 1, 2, 3. Oh, we found, it's nighttime. It's nighttime. Time to run. Caught us unawares. Didn't get in bed fast enough because I was talking. Now we've just aggroed every zombie at about 40 blocks probably. So we won't be able to sleep. And there's that baby zombie. I knew there was a baby zombie somewhere. We're gonna have to run because we're half dead. Our weapon broke. That's just not a good combination. We're going to keep running. We might lose the aggro of the zombies. This is that exciting stuff I'm talking about with hardcore. Okay, looks like I did lose him. It'll give us enough time to get our food in our bar. If I had to, I'd have fought him with just my pickaxe. That's not fun, but especially those baby zombies, they're so fast. Alright. Let's lure them back down because fighting them from below on stairs isn't fun either. You don't get any knockback when they've got a block directly over their heads. It makes it a little bit harder to fight them. If I'd installed a bed down here, this wouldn't be so big a problem. I do not want to have to fight that little guy bouncing around. On stairs, back down we go. As long as we're running straight away, we're a little faster. Hello? I'm right here. Did you forget about me? Let's fight. Oh, now you decide you want to fight. When did you get so skittish? Or devious? Maybe that's a better word for it. Come on, you. Uh-oh, this isn't looking good. Did not make sure to have enough food before we started. Ooh, that was close. number of things came together. We didn't have a bed, we didn't have food. Avoided, and we were talking instead of paying attention to the time. All of these things could have been avoided. Luckily, we did not die for that mistake. All right. There's a skeleton archer. He'd be happy to fix that. No, he'll catch on fire soon. All right. What we need before anything else is some food. And the food is under the watchful eye of that skeleton. Probably. He's on fire. He'll be dead soon. All right. Let's go get some food. Let's get some lamb chops. All right. So, pretty sure that that was 3 whole days. We will come back with part 2 of this video real soon. See you then.